to get out of here.
Yeah, let me get back.
Forgive me, battling technology here. Okay.
All right, we'll just program the nukes. Everybody, welcome to the Upper Frederick Township Board of Supervisors Budget Workshop Monthly Meeting for October 2nd, 2024. Pledge to the flag. I wanted to make an announcement that we did have 2 executive sessions that we had for personnel, and the other one was for litigation. Public comment, anybody? Perfect. Reports, 2025 draft budget report from Ms. Major.
Okay, you have in front of you the first draft of the 2025 budget. We're projecting revenues for next year of $1,319,903. And we're also projecting expenditures of $1,158,000. Those are recurring expenditures. That leaves us $161,000 to be able to use for road project or any increases that might occur. As part of this budget, I just wanted to point out we did a 3% increase for full-time staff. We did a 5% increase in liability and insurance costs, 3% for engineering, and 8% increase for health insurance. In addition, for public works, we didn't have any equipment purchases currently, but there are 2 road projects that Steve wants to do this year. Gotchell Road, which would be an estimated $236,500, and Yost Road, which is a seal coat, and that would be an estimated $27,500. So part of that will be paid for with liquid fuels funds. We'll have approximately $102,000 in liquid fuels funds to go towards those projects. The rest will have to come out of the general fund. The water and sewer fund, you don't actually have a copy of that budget in front of you. We currently do not have, if we have any additions to go into that, any project improvements, we don't have those numbers yet for that project.
That's what we were talking about.
That's where we're working with Rick Steves and Matt Landis.
Okay. This has the Matt Landis already in it? Or he's gonna give us billing for the blower motors he was talking about, so that wouldn't be on this.
No, so the repairs that you guys authorized at the last business meeting would fall out of this year's budget.
Okay.
What I'm working with Matt and Rick Steves on is Rick Sachs on, is to basically put together a project plan for Perkium and wastewater treatment plant to see what sort of upgrades are necessary, and then look at available state grant funding to phase that over a series of years.
Okay.
So we hope to have that information ready sometime next month, and then go forward. But right now, we don't have any firm figures as to what that would cost. My turn? Okay. Just one addition to the public works item. So while we have no equipment purchases planned for 2025, I spoke to Steve Heller today. There's currently the grant application window is open for the Commonwealth Financing Authority local share account, which every municipality in the Commonwealth can apply for annually up to $1 million. So Steve recommended that the backhoe, if we can get a grant for that, could use replacement. It's about 10 years old. We've actually budgeted, I think, an extra $1,000 in maintenance just to handle expected repairs, due to the aging of that particular vehicle. So sometime this month, I think the grant applications are due by November 30th. We'll be submitting a grant application somewhere in the amount of $110,000 for a new backhoe. We're waiting to get our estimate for the backhoe updated. That should be in sometime, hopefully next week, and then get a updated assessment for the trade-in value of the current backhoe that we have. But again, the grant application limit's $1 million, so unless it's going up exponentially,
Right.
It should be well within that window. Assuming a grant is awarded or partially awarded in 2025, we can make a budget amendment for that item in case it's a partial award and we have to draw from capital reserve or the general fund to pay for the balance. But the CFA grant awards are usually announced towards the end of the year. We're actually waiting to hear about last year's LSA grant sometime in the month of October.
Okay. And that was for the crossing.
Correct.
That was the only one out. Okay. Excuse me. Okay.
So that is largely it. I mean, the budget is, I wouldn't say a carbon copy, but pretty close to that of last year's. We have no major new expenditures that we're forecasting.
The 2% staff was last year as well?
I'm sorry?
The 2%, it says 2% staff increase on here.
I think we're budgeting for 3%.
For 3? Okay. I think that's what it was last year, 3. I wrote it.
Last year was 5.
Last year was 5? That's what yeah. I just remember sitting here, was very surprised by it. Okay. We're definitely going to go over this when Lisa gets back as well, correct?
Yes.
For the next meeting, that's what I would like to do as well, just so we can.
Do we have this electronically? Did you send it?
Yeah, I just send this electronically.
Thanks. Now I can print what I can read.
You can blow it up on your screen.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, no ARPA funds for the Godsville Road project either. Okay, we don't need to make a motion on that or anything. We're gonna hold that over till Lisa and then work on that, moving forward, anything we wanna put in there. I think there was a couple of things I have written down, regarding this. And I can't remember, I'm just getting too old.
What is the timeline of the budget?
So we're required by the Cyclass Township Code to finalize and pass a balanced budget by the month of December, by the end of the month, by the last meeting in December, I should say.
Yeah, and so once they finalize it, it also has to be made available for public comment, and, the actual budget itself, for a period of 20 days. So once they agree on it, then we can put it up, if you want to, on the website for, that people will be able to look at it and review it.
How do we determine that each year, Miss Linda, the staff increases?
We really just talked about just doing a 3% increase. There wasn't much that went into that. Previous years, I think they were trying to get some of the salaries up to be competitive, because some of the people were really getting paid under what most people were getting in the area. So that's why last year's increase was so large.
Okay.
I'll add that the Montgomery County Consortium had a salary and benefit study conducted in 2023. So we had access to see, what the market rates were for employment and also what the typical percentage rate was for salaries. Last year, because of economic pressures and inflation, a lot of municipalities were going above the typical 3%, but 3% annually is typically what is seen for employee wage increases for non-represented employees who are not union members, I should say, which does not apply here.
Okay. Okay. Any questions regarding that? Anybody have any questions? You yourself? Did you sign in? I just saw you come in and.
I didn't, oh,
Oh, okay, yeah, could
Would
you
you
just
like me
sign in, Bud? Yes, sir, please, if you don't mind.
okay.
Yep.
I'm new at this, so.
That's okay. Just move here?
No, I've lived here, but, with work and all, but recently I retired, so I have a little more time. I thought I'd, look around.
Oh, good, welcome.
My name is Hans Moyer. Nice to meet you.
All right, I guess no further budget discussion?
Do you have any questions, Paul?
No, I'm good with the budget. Like I said, I'll read it on the computer so I can see if anything comes up, we'll discuss it.
Okay. Yeah, I sent an email out earlier this evening at Bill's request with the Excel file in there, so give me a call if you have any questions.
Right.
No, we'll definitely look over this more, and I'm sure I'll have questions I'll email to you, Ms. Linda. Proposed zoning ordinance amendment?
Business before the board.
Oh, wait. Oh, we do this.
And actually, the first item is discussion of the finance committee,
I
and
don't know,
George
go
is
that
in
far all the
here.
way up.
So I don't know if you want to table that until,
Well, I kind of skipped it because he wasn't, but I mean, we could just address it and get it out
I
of
think
the
we
way.
should just
That's-
address
go ahead,
it
that's-
and
Yeah.
do it. And I want to thank Vicky for sending the sample finance committee from Doylestown.
that Aaron had gotten us, yes.
I did look at that, and as a board, we did discuss it. And it's just not feasible for our township to do that at this time. We just have no interest in it. We have a professional accounting firm that acts as an auditor. Our auditor board just then has the duties of setting our salaries. Pretty much, and that's laid out in the second-class code. So forming another committee that I don't feel we could staff, because Doylestown's and any of the other ones that I've seen, they're staffed by CPAs and accountants. I don't see us getting 5 CPAs or accountants in our township to come together, sit on the board and not get paid. And we can't afford to pay them. So that's my reason why I'm against it. And I think both the state and zone, what if he's in agreement?
Yeah, for me, it was, I think what he kept asking for, I kept trying to address him. All the information that anybody needs for the oversight for our community is hung right here next to this water cooler. And I just couldn't see giving new special overreaching power to, just to appease somebody in the community. I do encourage anybody who's interested in that to go ahead and there's an election coming up next year for an auditor, and the position's open. But for me, I just don't have an interest in staffing another committee when we have problems staffing our own committee already. And I agree with what Bill said about these are CPAs. These are professionals that you're paying, and I don't know anybody you're going to find that's going to want to volunteer for that, let alone us staff another one and pay for it. Again, so.
And the reports that are posted out here moving forward, if they haven't been, they are going to be available online with your agendas, your meeting minutes and so forth. So that anybody sitting at home wants to see what's going on in the township, wants to research it, wants to do their own audit, the information is there. You don't have to file right to know or anything else. It's there online.
Right, and I believe they used to be before we made this switch.
They were hit and miss.
Right, so we'll make sure those are up there as well. But as I pointed out in the past, I just don't see a need for it now. And I just, with everything else going on, I just don't see a need for it, to take up time for it. I'm not sure how Ms. Fisher feels, but that's just how I feel. So as far as I'm concerned, we can just table that. Do we need to take an action on that or anything? I didn't think so.
No, just discuss it.
So that's that. Proposed zoning ordinance amendment. Yes, ma'am. Have a great evening, Ms. Major.
Bye-bye.
Be careful going out.
This amendment that's being proposed is to repeal the amendment that was just passed a couple months ago. And the reason it's being done is to allow us to rezone and get in compliance with our comprehensive plan. What the comprehensive plan has said for 10, 15 years now, this is how Fred is going to be, and everybody in the community says that's how we want to be. These are the things we have to do to get it that way. And it's just keeping us in compliance with our fair share and moving forward to rezone some of the areas so that we don't have to have a lot of high-density housing or stuff like that in areas that is just not desired. Any specific questions on it?
Well, and before you do that,
From
just
legal stuff.
from a legal perspective, it's both ordinances that are on the agenda. They're kind of considered together. The first one, as Bill indicated, is a repeal of the housing one that was done earlier this year that removed the attached dwellings from the medium density district. We need to take that out because if we don't, we can't consider anything that's in the medium density as part of our fair share. So the second part is to rezone a number of properties within the township to make them either consistent with what the current use is or to make it so that we're within our fair share. So you didn't actually give the numbers, but under the joint comprehensive plan that we have for the Perkiomenville region, we're required to have, it's like 420 acres of high density housing in order to meet our fair share. We have almost 900 acres zoned for high density and we don't need that much. So this actually came as a recommendation from the county planning commission that we could do this and still meet our obligation to have our fair share of zoning. So there's a number of properties that are getting rezoned, and some of them are actually to make them consistent with what they are. So for example, the Crossings is a high density development, but it's actually in the land preservation district, which makes no sense. So they're a group that will be included within the rezoning. So what's going to happen is, when you do a rezoning like that, according to your zoning ordinance, any property owner that is affected must receive 30 days written notice. So there will be letters going out to each and every property owner so that they're aware that this is happening. And they will be told, when the hearing will be, which is in November at the board's next regularly scheduled meeting. You'll also see some postings pop up around town because we also have to post the properties prior to the hearing as well. The ordinances, we're going to make them available on the website. We're going to make additional information available on the website for anybody who's interested and anybody who has questions about it. So for tonight, though, what we're looking for is your authorization to send both of these ordinances have to go to both planning commissions, the county and your planning commission here.
Okay.
We have to advertise for the hearing. And in terms of the zoning ordinance, we have to send notices to all the people affected. So you can either take them together or you can take them separately, but what I'm looking for from you is authorization to advertise these for a public hearing, submit them to the county planning commissions, and where applicable to notify the property owners who are going to be affected by this. And now, I'm sorry, Bill, if you want to go back for questions.
Any questions?
How does a zoning change like that affect the
How does it affect
landowners?
landowners?
So in some situations, it will have zero effect because the property is really already meets the zoning. It's just that they're not zoned that way. So, and for some other property owners, it'll be a difference in what is allowed there. So in other words, if you have a property right now that's in the high density, and if it goes to land preservation, there will be different requirements with regard to, you know, how much you could subdivide it, how many different homes that you could put on it. But for most people, there won't be any difference at all.
Okay, any other questions?
Any other questions, Bob? You good? Les? No, you good, Bob?
Okay, let's see how the word is. I make a motion to forward to the
Planning
township planning
commissions and county.
county planning commissions, both proposed zoning ordinance amendments
Right, and to
together.
authorize
And
advertisement,
to authorize the advertisement of same and
to notify the affected
Notify.
property owners.
notify the affected property owners. Now repeat that.
Well, you can just say second.
And I second that.
All in favor?
All those in favor? Aye.
Okay, so be it.
I will say, just for everybody who's here, there'll also be public notice of this, but there is the potential that the next regular meeting, not next week, but the one in November, it may be held at the church across the street just for space, in case we have a lot of residents who come out. So we will give notice, it'll be, you know, on the township website, we'll put it on the board out front, but since you guys are here, I'll let you know that next month for the regular meeting, we may be across the street at the church.
The properties affected will be on the website?
Yes,
Addresses will be-
there will be a list,
Okay.
and there's also some maps, and I think we're gonna put the maps on the website as well, so people can
Right.
see. Yep.
Okay. Anybody else? Miss Carolyn?
Oh, no, good.
All right. So I don't want to, everybody think I'm running out on them. Okay, so upcoming meetings, Board of Supervisors business meeting, Wednesday, October 9, 2024 at 7 p.m. Zoning Hearing Board is Tuesday, October 15th, 2025. That ain't right.
Yes.
2024 at 7 p.m.
Oh, the
Yeah,
year.
okay.
Planning Commission yeah. What? Planning Commission meeting, October 30th, 2024 at 7 p.m. is rescheduled from October 31st due to Halloween.
I got bonfire.
Anybody got anything else they want to bring up, talk about?
Yeah, still have 5 minutes.
Les?
No, good.
Miss Carolyn?
Shortest
Mark,
meeting on
Bob?
record.
Hans, right?
I'm studying.
What was it, Hans Moyer?
Constantly, yeah.
Hans Moyer, okay, yeah. Well, then I go ahead and make the motion to adjourn this here fine meeting.
All second.
All those